Hello and welcome to my Brooklyn kitchen. Today we're working with these really tiny little pears that I got at the farmer's market like over a week ago, and they need to be used. I've never worked with these tiny pears before, but I thought they were so adorable and I just was like, I need to have these. And so now what we're going to do today is make a little pear tart with some of the dough I have left over from a previous episode, and these tiny pears, and a little bit of like an almond frangipane in the bottom. So that's gonna be really nice. And halfway through this episode I'm getting my nails done, so that it works out really well because we have to prep the pears and we have to pre-bake the pie crust. So that's what we're gonna do. Then I'll be away. You won't notice that part. And then I'll be back with new nails and we'll make the frangipane.
Farmer's market time. Go down to the farmer's market to see what we can find.
The first thing, I've just preheated the oven, and this dough is like coming up to room temp so that we can roll it out. This is pie crust, so it's not the normal like pâte brisée or pâte sucrée that you would use in like a traditional French pear tart, but that's okay because it's getting the job done basically the same way. This we can put to the side. Here are our eggs and almond flour for the frangipane we get there. Oh, that's a piece of cheese. Okay. And before. And then here's our tin that we also will need later, but not right now. Because right now the plan is to figure out what we're going to do with these pears. I'm just going to get rid of this can, but whatever. Okay, so the dilemma is that these are so beautiful, and like with the little blush on their skin and everything, and they're so tiny. So peeling them is kind of a challenge. You could do it, but you might accidentally like take off too much of the flesh and then they all become really tiny. And I just really like the way that they look. So I've never done this, but I wanted to poach them in advance of baking. I think it'll help them like hold their shape a little bit more. Ah! Oh my god, I literally just can't even turn on the oven? What the fuck? Okay. Now we all know why I don't bake bread anymore, sadly. As I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by all the safety precautions set up in my apartment. Very necessary though, necessary but annoying. I'm gonna poach these pears in some of the peach syrup that we made. I was gonna make my own simple syrup to poach them in, but then I had the extra from the peaches, so I just thought that would be a great idea. I hear some sirens. I really hope it's not the fire department coming. They did arrive before. Anyway, okay. So these are gonna go in a pot, just like this. I might give them a rinse, although this little dust that they have on here I find very beautiful, and it's probably healthy. But yeah, get these into a pot, and we're gonna simmer them in the peach syrup until they're just kind of soft. Really, really hope the fire department's not here. That would be a very big annoyance. While those poach, I'm gonna roll out this pie dough and put it in our little springform cake pan, which is not technically a tart pan, but can act as a tart pan. This is like kind of on the verge of going bad, but I think it'll be fun. Yeah, you want it like a little bit bigger than the edges, of course. Well, because you want it to go up the sides of the pan. And sorry about the fan, I'm trying to avoid firefighters coming into my apartment, so. Although thrilling, it's not an everyday. I prefer it to not be an everyday occurrence. Okay, now I'm just going to lay this in here. And like most things I make at home, this is going to be very rustic. And I think that that's beautiful. It's a little long on one side, you can always trim and then move it over. And this, like the edges are very long on the sides. I maybe made it a little too big, so I'm actually gonna kind of go around and fold it all in half, so it's just about like maybe 2 inches or 1.5 inches. And then you form like a bit of a crust on the outside rim, which is nice. Okay, there's our thing. And now I'm going to put some beans in it and throw it in the oven. Okay, what is the time? Okay, this is perfect. Kind of. When I say perfect, I mean I'm running out of time. But it's not too late. put your beans. Not from a can, dried beans. From a can would be hilarious though. I'm gonna put a little more, and because well, honestly these are pretty old, but I'm gonna also do a little experiment to see if I can soak these after I use them and then eat them later, and if they're gonna taste good or bad. I don't know. That's like a very like cucina povera thing to do, but like I don't want to waste these really nice lentils. So yeah, this is going to go into the oven. After about 15 or 20 minutes, I'm going to remove the beans and then let it cook. The beans are so that the bottom stays flat and is weighed down. Let's give the pears a little flip. Okay, so I'm turning these off. It's time to test. I'm just gonna poke a little, like, you know, it'd be good if you had a cake tester, but I don't have one. So I'm just gonna poke this, and it goes in very smoothly, not too smoothly, luckily. So that means these are done. I'm gonna get them out of the syrup and just onto a plate to cool. Okay, I'm back. My beautiful new nails that I'm so relieved about. Honestly, it's like, I don't know, it just feels like, it's like getting a haircut, but a little bit, it's like a little bit better somehow, I don't know. Because they just like always look better. A haircut's kind of like a toss-up. Anyway. Here we have our crust. Oh my gosh, I can see one tiny lentil that snuck through. So, see how it's like dusty kind of looking? That's what we're looking for. I'm just gonna let it cool a little bit. We have our little pears that are gorgeous. And I think I'm just gonna set them inside the tart like that. I wish I had a few more, to be honest, but I don't. So what are you gonna do? Oopsie. Oh, they're very sticky. Okay. They like each other a lot. Okay. Now, we need butter, a certain amount of butter. I have almond flour, I have eggs. I don't have sugar. I need to go buy sugar. My nails are done. The tart shell is done. So, and our pears are cool and so cute, just like me. And now we're gonna make the Frangipane. So this recipe is probably more Frangipane than I need, but I'm just gonna kind of make it that way because I haven't made this recipe for years and years, like 10 years probably. So I'm going to 9 years, I should say. I know that it's 9. Maybe I made it somewhere in between there. Anyway. I'm just gonna make it basically as written, although I think there's something wrong with this particular recipe. I don't think it's written correctly, so I'm going to do it the way that I think is right. I also don't have almond paste, so I'm not including that. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So basically, the first thing we need to do is put some butter and sugar together in this bowl. That's way too much now already. Okay. Well, I don't obviously remember how much my sticks of butter are, which is bad. Look, I'm going to take this out and see. Okay. So find your favorite recipe for Frangipane and you can use that one. This one I got in culinary school. There's always this little part of me, anytime I'm just like free pouring sugar into a bowl, even though I know that sugar looks different than salt, there's just this little thing in the back of my head that just goes, oh no, is that salt? Just for like a brief second. And I know that it's every single time, I know that it's not salt, but I still think it. Oh my god, I've done too much sugar. That's fine. I just went over by a little bit. Okay. The interlude distracted me. Okay. Now I'm gonna mix this together, cream it together with a whisk. That's not working. Today's a day. It's a good day, but it's like, it's not a bad day, but it's just a day where everything that, I don't know, just feels like a weird day. Things are going weird. Hopefully this doesn't go weird. I think it'll turn out. Okay. Let me just mix this together first. It's kind of cool out. It's been a bit cool this week, so, or this like weekend at least, and today's Monday. But, so the butter isn't as soft as it could be, which is why it was hard to whisk together. But if it's super soft, like if you're making this in the middle of summer, you might not have to do the spatula part that I'm doing right now. I'm gonna Now, what if I had a smaller whisk? Wouldn't that be amazing? I just have my like tiny gravy whisk and then this one, so. Maybe one day in my dream world, I have like 3 different sizes of whisks. Could also do this with like a hand blender. Not a hand, but like a hand mixer. Here is the texture. You want it kind of fluffy. I could probably cream it more, but I'm too tired today. Eggs. It says to add the eggs and then the extract, but I'm going to add the extract first. Or with the eggs. Here I have some almond extract. Yum. And I have this little bit of vanilla extract also, because why not? Great. Now it's like it's like creamed a little bit more. And the air bubbles are gonna help with the eggs. So this says 2 eggs. You can crack these into a separate bowl if you're bad at cracking eggs, or if your eggs are really low quality and the shells are really soft, then I would crack it into a separate bowl so that your shells don't go in. And actually, they say, like, I kind of just made a mistake because they say you put 1 egg first, then you mix it so that it emulsifies with the butter. I've done 2 in here, so hopefully it doesn't get weird, but we'll see. It might get weird. Okay, see how the little pieces of butter are little bits are separate from they look separate. They like they're a little chunky. It kind of looks like curds and whey. That means that the butter and the eggs didn't emulsify together properly. So this is technically a mistake, but and that's because we didn't add the eggs one at a time. But we're gonna add almond flour and regular flour, and you'll see that it will just come together. So although technically incorrect, in this recipe, luckily it doesn't matter that much. Okay. when you do it, you can remember to add the eggs one at a time. Now, almond flour, which we have. And we have the oven preheated on 350. So, not that much flour. Seems like so little. And it calls for cake flour, pastry flour. However, I'm using all-purpose because I don't have cake flour. There we go. Wow, just basically a sprinkle of each of these two flours. And now, mixing again. Okay, once you add the flours, you can see that it still looks a tiny bit broken, to be honest. But everything is mixed together. It's pretty homogeneous. And part of me kind of wants to add a little bit more almond flour. So I'm just going to just double the almond flour in this recipe. Okay, yum. Gorgeous. Now, you can taste this because it's going to taste delicious. Mmm, so good. Saving this for later. Now the plan is scrape your Frangipane into your tart shell. What did you just call me? That's just a funny joke, in case you're wondering. Now, spread it out. And when you make a beautiful tart like this, just naturally, because you're so good at home cooking, people might get jealous of you. But you know what? Don't worry about it. You just have to keep doing what you do and making what you make. And, you know, everything will work out. I don't even know if this is going to work out because I broke the Frangipane, so this might turn out ugly and weird, but I know it's going to taste good. And that's the fun of cooking. You don't always have to do everything perfect, as long as you know that if you pay attention, you sometimes can make it perfect. I just don't like to pay attention that much. So I'm pushing the Frangipane all the way to the edge, and I have a little tiny lip, and I'm just kind of trying to nudge it underneath that little lip. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, I need new spatulas. That one's getting very old. Now we place our little beauties. And these might, because they were like in that sugar syrup, I don't know what's gonna happen to them in the oven. They might get like really crunchy on the outside. I kind of hope that that's what happens. Now I'm gonna place them about half an inch away from the crust. And I was debating slicing them in half. Oh, I still kind of want to do that because there's not that many. Okay. Okay. I was going to like place them all so they're like sitting up really pretty, but actually I think I'm going to slice them in half and lay them. Look how pretty they are. They're like little jewels. Okay, now I will place them in the pan, and I'm going to start with, oh, it's hard to decide because once you decide you have to just do it, so, okay. We're gonna go the butt of the pear to the outside, and I am gonna actually, now that I have more, I'm gonna space them out like right next to the edge of the crust. And I'm doing all the butt ends with no stem first, and then I'm going to put the ones with the stem somewhere. I will see how they fit. And smush them like pretty far down into the frangipane so that they get to the bottom of the tart shell. Okay, this didn't work. Wait. So now I have more room for halves with no stem than I have too many stems essentially. So what I'm going to do is take two of these and cut the stem off and pretend there was no stem. And actually I'm going to use this one because it has the shortest stem. And the other ones are like long and pretty. Squish that down, no one will know. There. Okay, this looks beautiful. Now, the ones with the stem I'm going to put in this way, like this. It's like now I have too many pears, unfortunately. How am I going to do this? Okay. I could have saved, this is not the same pear. What to do? You know what, it's not ideal, but I'm gonna squish this one down, and then I'm gonna put this one kind of standing up in the middle, just because I want to use all the pears. And okay, this is not my most beautiful presentation, I will say that, but it's gonna look nice once it's baked. Once your pears are all placed, you can throw it in the oven. My oven is preheated to 350. Bake it until the frangipane is just set. That's probably around 20 minutes, or until it looks like this. So beautiful. I make things that smell this good. Who's gonna marry me? So here we have our beautiful tart, and I'm going to just take off the outside ring right now and let it cool down. Obviously it looks stunningly beautiful. The only, I mean, there are two flaws. The first flaw is that the top is uneven because those little pieces of butter, those little chunks of butter that I showed you before when it was broken, those melted, and now there's those little holes all over the surface. So like in this kind of situation, like a home cooking situation, it doesn't really matter, but if you're trying to impress a chef or work at a restaurant, just make sure you put your eggs in one at a time. And also, like, yeah, helps to have a hand mixer and a lot of things. And like warmer butter would have helped. Yeah. The other thing that I noticed that I didn't expect or kind of forgot was that the Frangipane puffs up when you cook it, and then as it cools it's going to sink back down again. So the really nice pattern that I made with all the pears, you can't really see it, and also you then can't see the stems. So I thought like maybe it would be a situation where you could kind of like pick the stem off and then eat it, but now it's buried within the Frangipane, which is not ideal. So just remove all the stems next time, or use half the amount of Frangipane. But I kind of like the Frangipane, so I wanted there to be more. So now I'm just gonna let this cool for 20-30 minutes, and then we'll do a taste. Okay, our tart is beautifully cooled, and I'm going to cut into it. This is my little plate that I made. How am I gonna do this? Smells great. And look at all of our little pears inside. Yummy. I'm just gonna eat this one just because. Yummy. I'm happy we poached them in the peach syrup because it adds a little sweetness. Okay, take a look at that. Oh my gosh, look how beautiful that is. So pretty. Okay, see, and now you remove the stem. You find it. No problem. Wow. Really tasty. And just really lightly sweet. This is such a yummy fall dessert. Oh my gosh, yum. The Frangipane looks like it's cooked really nicely. I'm glad I added the extra almond. Yeah, I mean, not much else to say. Another perfect dish. It's really good. There's not much else to say. I hope you make this with some beautiful pears that you find at the farmer's market. This would be good. No, never mind. This is just really good. You could do it with almost any fruit, I think. But yeah, if you find these little tiny beautiful pears, make this dish.
Thanks so much for watching till the end. I hope you learned some new techniques. I've started putting the ingredients lists in the description box below. I love any feedback, so please don't hesitate to comment. And if you like what I'm up to here at Miss Produce, then please subscribe to my channel. Thanks again, you guys.